The last transmission from Mars was never completed. A fragment of a voice, a distorted warning. Then, silence. No reply from Earth, no rescue, no explanation, only silence stretching across millions of kilometers. At first, silence felt temporary, then it became uncertainty, then fear, and eventually, it became truth. When reality refuses to speak, people begin to invent it, and every generation tells the story a little differently, until the story becomes history. In 2050, Earth sent machines first. Autonomous builders carved life into a planet that had never known it. Domes rose from the dust. Every breath inside those cities was manufactured. Mars was not conquered. It was carefully held together by fragile systems that could fail with a single mistake. Then the first 500 settlers arrived. They believed they were building humanity's second home. Every message from Earth reminded them of one promise. One day, you will return. That promise became their psychological anchor. The difficult days became bearable because every sacrifice had an ending. It would all be temporary until one day, Earth stopped answering. At first, nobody panicked. Communications fail, systems break, delays happen. The engineers searched for technical explanations because technical problems are comforting. But days became weeks. Weeks became months, and something invisible entered the colony long before any virus ever did: doubt. Humans are remarkably good at surviving hunger, cold, pain, but uncertainty consumes people differently. Psychologists noticed strange changes. People stopped making long-term plans. Birth rates declined. Children asked questions adults could no longer answer. Some settlers continued speaking to Earth every evening even though nobody replied. Others refused to enter the communication rooms at all. Hope became painful. Years passed. Communication attempts slowly disappeared. Silence had become routine. Routine became identity. Mars slowly stopped thinking of itself as a colony. It became an orphan, and orphans eventually stop waiting for parents who never return. Life inside the domes grew heavier. The air was clean, the water recycled, food carefully rationed. Yet depression spread faster than any disease. People woke every morning knowing the world outside wanted them dead, while the world they had left behind no longer answered. Some lost themselves in work. Others withdrew completely. Some volunteered for dangerous maintenance missions simply to feel something stronger than emptiness. Then desperation pushed nearly 100 people outside the safety of the domes. Officially, they were searching for resources. Unofficially, many were searching for hope. They never returned. Months later, 5 survivors staggered back, their suits damaged, their eyes hollow. They spoke about underground caves where strange fungal ecosystems produced oxygen. For a brief moment, the colony celebrated. Mars had given them life. Then the infections began. Entire families disappeared within days. Medical stations overflowed. Isolation chambers filled faster than they could be built. Husbands spoke final words through speakers because touch had become deadly. The vaccine eventually saved the colony. The epidemic ended. The deaths stopped. But psychological wounds obey no medicine. Children inherited grief they had never experienced. A civilization survived physically, while emotionally it remained frozen inside the year Earth went silent. 70 years later, Mars had become powerful. 20,000 people lived beneath its domes. Technology flourished, medicine advanced, cities expanded. Yet every child learned the same lesson before mathematics. Earth abandoned us. The story was repeated so often that nobody questioned it. Because grief asks us to accept loss. Hatred gives us someone to blame. 3 generations spent their lives preparing for return. Not because they wished to see home, but because they wanted history to acknowledge their pain. 7,000 soldiers boarded the fleet. None of them had ever seen Earth. Yet every one of them believed Earth had betrayed them. Not because they had evidence, because they had inherited memory. Earth did not end in a single day. It unraveled one decision at a time. Competition for dwindling resources became distrust. Distrust became fear. Fear became the belief that survival required domination. Nations no longer fought for victory. They fought because they believed someone else would strike first. And eventually, someone did. Within days, the civilization humanity had spent thousands of years building disappeared beneath nuclear fire. Cities vanished. Oceans swallowed coastlines. The skies darkened. Nearly 8 billion lives were erased. Only 10,000 people survived, hidden deep inside underground bunkers built long before the world needed them. At first, they believed the surface would recover. Weeks became months. Months became years. Every generation postponed the dream of returning. Not because they gave up, but because hope was easier to carry into tomorrow than disappointment was to face today. The first generation remembered sunlight, the smell of forests, the sound of birds. Those memories kept them alive. The second generation inherited those memories but never trusted them. To them, the stories sounded too beautiful to be real. The third generation stopped asking about the surface altogether. Darkness no longer felt unnatural. It felt like home. The underground shaped more than their lives. It reshaped their minds. People developed a fear of open spaces they had never seen. The thought of stepping onto the surface caused panic. Confined spaces became safety. Walls became comfort. The unknown became unbearable. Eventually, the world above received a new name: the empty. Yet, even in the deepest despair, the human mind searches for something to hold on to. Mars. A distant world where humanity's brightest engineers and scientists had once gone. A world that, according to old records, had survived. As generations passed, Mars became less like a colony and more like a legend. Some believed the Martians had built a perfect civilization. Others believed they had evolved beyond humanity's mistakes. Children grew up hearing that one day they would return. Slowly, Mars stopped being a place. It became a promise. Some communities even transformed that promise into faith. Not because they knew the Martians were alive, but because believing was easier than accepting complete isolation. Hope became their religion. And every unexplained signal from the sky became a miracle waiting to happen. For the people of Mars, the journey home had only one purpose: justice. 3 generations had grown up believing Earth had abandoned them. Every military simulation reached the same conclusion: Earth would fight. Earth would be the enemy. The fleet entered orbit. Weapons armed, defensive systems activated. Every soldier waited for the first strike. It never came. Below them, there was almost nothing. No orbital defenses, no satellites, no military fleets, no great civilization, only broken continents. Scars left by oceans that no longer followed ancient coastlines. A wounded planet. The silence unsettled them more than any battle could have. Then a signal appeared, weak, human, coming from deep beneath the surface. Thousands of survivors slowly emerged from underground shelters, cautious, fragile, unsure whether what they were seeing was real. Some fell to their knees, some wept openly. Others simply stood in silence, unable to believe that hope had finally taken shape above them. For Earth, the Martians were salvation. For Mars, Earth was supposed to be judgment. Both civilizations had spent 70 years preparing for this moment, and both discovered they had prepared for the wrong future. Then came the transmission. Earth had answered, not because it had chosen silence, but because it had fallen silent. The truth shattered 70 years of certainty in a single moment. There had been no betrayal, only two worlds trapped by the same catastrophe. Mars had survived beneath glass domes. Earth had survived beneath stone. Both had spent generations grieving the other. The anger that had driven the Martian fleet across space dissolved into something far more difficult to bear. Grief, relief, guilt. Yet the reunion carried its own cruel irony. The Martian fleet had consumed almost every remaining resource reaching Earth. There was no fuel for the return journey, no infrastructure waiting on Mars. They had reached home, only to discover they could never go back. Families remained separated by millions of kilometers, not because of war, not because of politics, but because the universe obeys physics, not longing. For the first time in generations, both civilizations understood the same truth. They had never been enemies. They had been victims of silence. Earth finally found hope. Mars finally found the truth. And between those two discoveries lay the beginning of a future no one had imagined. Not built on revenge, not built on worship, but on the painful realization that understanding one another sometimes comes only after decades of believing the worst.